Well, hello, my name is Suzanne Tonaire from CapeCod.com, and I am pleased to have a very special person join us, Alan Hall from Halls Cape Cod Cranberry Bogs on Depot Road in North Harwich. Hi, Alan.
Good
How
morning.
are
How are
you?
you, Susan? How are you today?
I am great, and I know you're super busy this time of year with your local cranberry farm. I thought it would be neat to talk to a local cranberry farmer. And I've known your family for many years. Tell us a little bit of history because this cranberry bog, located there on Depot Road, it's been in your family for how many generations?
Well, that particular bog's three generations. My grandfather bought that one in 1962.
Hmm.
Uh, he owned several bogs in and around Howard, and he was a grandson and great grandson of other cranberry growers from North Howard. I'm seventh generations doing it, and my son Benjamin will be eighth, and he's working actively on it. My son Nicholas also. So we've got a lot of history there in North Howard, and we're trying to keep the cranberries going for the future.
Absolutely. So, when do you actually start the harvest? Because are you close to the end now at this
We're
time
actually
of year?
all done now. We finished a couple
Okay.
weeks ago. Actually, we finished. We usually start wait until Columbus Day weekend. That's when the berries ripen up. We
Uh,
have a variety. They're house vine. That's the name of the vine, and they're a late variety, and they don't ripen up until middle of October, end of October. They get a nice, rich color.
You provided us with some great photos and videos, which we're going to see throughout this conversation. On it's quite a lot of work. How many years does it take for a cranberry bog to begin producing?
Well,
The
yeah, the cranberry vines are native to America. They're one of the three native plants we have: the Concord grape, blueberry, and the cranberries. And cranberries are native to this area. So then, when they started the formation of the cultivation, they planted them in swamps and lowlands back in the early 1800s. Actually, Hall and Dennis started that whole cultivation, and it
year
takes about
is that you said in the
pardon?
1800s?
Yeah, they started around 1816. It's documented that Henry Hall and Dennis started the cultivation of the cranberries, and then Cyrus Calhoun and Howard in the 1830s, 1840s, they started to do the commercial part of it. But it takes from cutting the vines because you transplant them. It takes anywhere from 2 to 4 years until you achieve a decent crop. It depends on the variety that you plant.
All right. Is it really a difficult job? It seems like it's very difficult to do. What are some of the challenges when you own a cranberry bog? And how many acres do you have, by the way?
Well, we got 7 acres in production, and we're rebuilding another two or three that we have on the site that we want to have about 10 acres when we're completed. Uh, some of the challenges is just the natural enemies, the weather, frost. You have a spring frost, you have a fall frost, natural pest, worms, insects, weather. If it rains too much at certain times when the bogs are pollinated, it can flood and ruin your crop. There's this it's a 13-month season we call it, but it's a labor of love, and
Hmm.
it's fast as you're working outside and you're enjoying elements of the world, and you watch each season go by and how it changes the colors and the vines that come to life in the spring and the
Hmm.
new is out. It's just fascinating.
So, speaking of flooding, that's one of the procedures. At the end, you flood the bog, but that's a good thing. That flooding, you use the water wheel. Is it called a water wheel? Is that
Water there, yeah, it's a ride-on mechanical machine. Video. The water is used in the fall for harvesting. It wasn't up until 30 years ago that water harvesting came into play. Before that, it was all dry harvesting.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
but water harvesting really has taken over. And basically, that's primarily what everybody's doing nowadays because some of the larger handlers are just forcing that. You take those berries and pick them that way and bring them in. Because when you water harvest, the berry has they're hollow inside. So when you knock them off the vines, they float up and then the wind pushes them to a certain area, and then you corral them and pump them into a truck, and then they take them to a large receiving plant, and then they uh, produce juice, sauce, can. They freeze them.
Hmm.
All
Yeah. That was one of my questions about how they float at the top of the water because they're a little bit hollow inside that makes them
yeah,
float up to
yeah,
the top. Yeah.
yeah,
Cranberries are, of course, very popular this time of year. I know that you do sell them commercially, but are you also selling some to the public? I know last year I bought some from you.
yeah. We're just the friends. We have a little bit extra there, and we
Y-
give away or sell off. Not many,
No.
because primarily, we're not set up for that right now. But
Mm.
once we get, one of our goals is to have a cranberry museum at
Mm.
that property, and then have a retail store outlet and talk about the whole history of North Harwich and cranberries on Cape Cod. And I've got a string of a slew of equipment and historical documents and just things that I want to share with the public and educate them and keep agriculture's, it's a vital entity on the Cape. It's kind of being pushed out right now because of the cost of land and different things.
Mm.
But cranberries was a huge aspect of the economy here, and we're trying to keep it going and stay positive.
Sure, here in the Northeast, cranberries and the production of cranberries is huge. It's just under, I think Wisconsin's number one. I think we're number two, right? I think that's what I
Yeah.
read. Hmm.
Then you got Jersey, you got Maine,
Yeah,
Nova
yeah.
Scotia, Oregon, and Washington,
Right.
and even,
Well, it
even
is fascinating that you're telling me about the what the future holds for your cranberry farming industry, about the tours. I think that's going to be excellent when you have all the old equipment set up and people can really understand this mighty little berry that, by the way, is a very good source of vitamins and minerals. Right. I was reading that. The power, it's one of those power berries like a blueberry. It has unique plant compounds. It's an antioxidant. It can prevent UTIs, stomach cancer, heart disease, things like that. Yeah.
oh yeah, there's all kinds of benefits to it. Plus, it's just part of our tradition for Thanksgiving, and it's
Hmm.
nice to have that on the table every year.
Absolutely. I remember last year I did make some fresh cranberry sauce from your cranberries. I'm speaking with Halls Cape Cod Cranberries and the bog. If people want to just kind of drive by and see the beauty of it, they're on Depot Road in North Harwich. So I know you're very busy. I know you've got a lot going on there on the farm. I want to thank you a lot for spending some time with us and talking about your local cranberry farm. And it's nice to hear that you're going to pass it on to generations for generations to come. That your sons are interested, Alan.
Yeah, and I just want to give a shout out. Thank you for having us on here, and also shout out to all the other cranberry growers on Cape Cod, because it's a unique group of people that we all work together, and it's a small community, and it's a nice community, and we all work together, and it's really nice.
That's right. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's wonderful to share that camaraderie amongst all of you. So, well, happy holidays to you and your family, and thanks again for taking the time to be with us, Alan Hall from Halls Cape Cod Cranberries. Best of luck in the future with that little red berry, which, by the way, is people want to know. Well, what else can I do with them? Well, you could throw them in a smoothie, oatmeal salsa, make some granola out of it. There's so many. Dry them up. There's so many wonderful uses for that delicious, powerful cranberry. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Susan. Yeah,
All right, Alan, take care. And again, happy holidays to you and your family.
and to you. Yeah, bye bye.